How can a dish be really cold and really hot at the same time? And welcome back to Cliffieland. This is week in country number 89 on our second attempt of cooking food of every single country in the world. And tonight we're up to the nation of North Korea, or technically the People's Democratic Republic of Korea. It is a hermit kingdom which is bordered by China, Russia, and across the demilitarized zone, South Korea. It's an isolated nation and you can pretty much look up the rest that you need to know about that. But in terms of its cuisine, it's pretty much indistinguishable from that of South Korea, and that Korean food is kind of a piece. Now, while there are regional differences in any country, all I was really able to find that would distinguish the food of North Korea from South Korea is that since it's been so isolated, it hasn't really evolved over the past 60 years, like South Korea's has. Hence the food being a little more traditional. Also, one source suggested that the food is a little less spicy in the North and the South, but this dish certainly does not suggest that at all. Tonight we'll be doing a particular dish because it was suggested by a friend with close Korean ties and also happens to be the most popular dish from the most popular restaurant in the capital of Pyongyang, and that is Bibim-naengmyeon. I hope I got the pronunciation close, which means mixed up cold noodles. The noodles are cold, the spice is hot. This is the same dish we tried when we did this last time around, so let's see how it went then. Well, 4 years ago on the Global Cooking Challenge, I was able to find some of the key ingredients for this, specifically the hot chili peppers and the hot pepper paste that are specifically Korean. I was not able to find the Korean buckwheat noodles, which is the same thing that happened this time. And as a result, I wound up missing one ingredient. Nonetheless, it came out, I think, pretty well, except for the fact that it was insanely hot, and we really had a lot of trouble actually eating it. I really wasn't sure I wanted to do this dish again for that same reason, but my friend suggested to keep plugging along and gave me the suggestion of one additional ingredient to help deal with that heat. We'll see that in a minute. But before we get to the ingredients, I need to get into some of the substitutions we had to make. Like I said, we could not find the Korean naengmyeon buckwheat noodles, which apparently have some sort of bouillon package in them. Hence, we had to use Japanese soba noodles, which are close but not quite the same thing and don't have that package. So we did substitute a beef bouillon cube for that. Also, we weren't able to find rice syrup. We did substitute corn syrup for that. I hope that's okay. And the Asian pears did elude us this time, and we had to use Basque pears instead. But that being said, let's take a look at the ingredients for tonight's dish. For Bibim-naengmyeon, or mixed up cold noodles, we'll need 2 servings of dried naengmyeon noodles, although we are substituting Japanese soba noodles here. 1 package of the broth base that comes with the noodles. Since we didn't get that, we're substituting a beef bouillon cube. 1 Korean pear, or barring that, 2 Basque pears, 1 English cucumber, or 2 regular cucumbers, 1 hard-boiled egg, which will be cut into halves, 1/4 cup of sesame seeds, ground, 2 garlic cloves, 1/2 teaspoon of ginger, minced, 2 tablespoons worth of onion, minced, 2 green onions, chopped, 1/4 cup of hot pepper flakes, 2 tablespoons of hot pepper paste, 1 tablespoon of soy sauce, 1 teaspoon of salt, 3 teaspoons of sugar, 1/4 cup of rice syrup, though since we couldn't find that, we're substituting corn syrup, 2 tablespoons of white vinegar, 2 teaspoons of sesame oil, ice cubes, as an addition for dressing, cubed watermelon. Okay, North Korea, let's get cooking!
First, prepare the broth. Put 2 cups of water into a bowl and dissolve the bouillon cube in the water. Freeze for 2 to 3 hours until it turns slushy. Prepare the garnishes. Mix 1 cup of cold water with 1 teaspoon of sugar in a bowl. Then peel the pear or pears and cut into halves. Remove the cores. Reserve 1/2 of the pear or 1 Basque pear for the spicy sauce. And cut the other pear or half into thin matchsticks for a garnish. Soak the matchsticks in the sugar water so they won't go brown. Peel the cucumbers. Cut the cucumbers into thin matchsticks. Then make the spicy sauce. Into a food processor, put the Basque pear or half the Korean pear, ginger, garlic, onion, green onions, hot pepper flakes, hot pepper paste, soy sauce, salt, sugar, rice or corn syrup, vinegar, and sesame oil, and grind until creamy. Transfer the sauce to a bowl and refrigerate until ready to use. Prepare the noodles. Bring a large pot of water to a boil, add the noodles and stir. Cover and let them cook for 3 to 5 minutes. Take a sample to taste. When you chew the noodles, there shouldn't be any hard stuff at all. If there is, cook them for 1 minute longer. Strain the noodles and rinse in cold running water. Rub the noodles with both hands and scrub to remove any excess starch. The noodles should get chewy and cold. For the last rinse, fill a large bowl with cold water and some ice cubes. Rinse the noodles well in the icy water, drain and divide them into 2 large shallow serving bowls. Then compose the Bibim-naengmyeon. Take the icy broth out of the freezer and pour some into each serving bowl. Put some spicy sauce over the noodles. Place the pear on top of the noodles. Place the cucumber on top of the noodles. Sprinkle a heap of sesame seeds powder on top. Add half an egg to the top of each bowl, and if using, dress with watermelon.
How'd that all turn out? Well, once again, it was really hot. I mean, like super spicy. We did wind up having to use the, in case of emergency, break glass watermelon to throw in there to help cool it off some. In retrospect, I probably should have just simply put less of the spicy sauce on it, but I kind of felt that, you know, it served two. I had to use half of it. I wound up having to drain it through a colander and put it back in the bowl again to actually just be able to eat it. Once I did that and had the watermelon in there, I was able to eat it. The noodles were chewy, but it was really a challenge to eat, let me tell you. It just really needed something cold or fatty to balance that heat. All I can say, because I like spicy food, but this was a lot. So I'm gonna give the Bibim-naengmyeon 2 out of 5 globes. Sorry it was so low. Maybe if I use less spice, I don't know. People in Korea must have a much higher tolerance than this Puerto Rican. Sorry about that, folks, but tune in next week when we go through the demilitarized zone to have the food of South Korea. See you then! And remember, if you'd like to see our streams live when they happen every Tuesday night, be sure to follow us on Periscope or Facebook Live. Like and subscribe to be advised when these videos are posted. Remember, links to the original recipes can always be found in the About section. And if you have any thoughtful feelings or helpful suggestions about the food that we're cooking, let us know in the comments. Thanks for watching and happy eating!